Hello guys, it's the Gebra back with another video. And in this video, I will be debunking the Bowser vs. Eggman death battle again, since I've received criticism that people couldn't tell what was going on in the last version of the video. This time I'll be doing things myself, and things will be more reactionary. Like I'll show the clip and then I'll say something or something like that. And, that's how it'll work. I'll be showing a ton of scans and I will be using Death Battle's own logic against them. And I will be showing where they lie or misinform, because people think that there's some infallible source that is never wrong and that they don't get things wrong. And I'm like, get off their meat. Get off their meat. Like, why? No, we're not doing that. And people need to be humbled on that. Death Battle has explicitly lied about certain scans in their episodes. And this battle is not the only one, but I'll be focusing on this battle in particular. And, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. It's going to be pretty sweet, so stay tuned. And let's begin.
This battle is sponsored by Marvel Snap and Prize Picks.
Bowser versus Dr. Eggman,
the king of the Koopas and the baddest of badniks. And they're not alone.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Ah, the Mushroom Kingdom. A peaceful land of kindness, adventure, love.
Ah, boring! Move aside, princess. It's time this place got way more awesome. Here comes King Koopa himself, better known as Bowser.
The moment this orphan star child was found by Kamek, it was clear Bowser would command the disparate outcasts of the Mushroom world, the Koopa clan.
Sadly, not everyone's born a toad, and they treat these critters like monsters, fated to a life of infinite jump farming for one-ups.
Bowser wanted a different world. But Princess Peach Toadstool would never allow the evil king's day in the sun. Her light was so bright, Bowser became infatuated with her.
So he turned all the toads into bricks and kidnapped her, putting their princess in another castle, and another, like 40 years of castles, only to be released if she agrees to marry him and his dad bod.
Yet he was foiled time and time again by those pesky Mario brothers. However, Bowser is nothing if not persistent.
Look at him! Dude's built like a brick house strapped to a saw trap. That spiked shell takes a lot of punishment. Not even the weight of a castle can scratch it, especially when he rolls up like a prehistoric Beyblade.
And the Koopa King doesn't just breathe fire and control lava, he commands nature itself.
Spitting meteors from outer space, beckoning the earth with a snap, inhaling torrents of wind, straight up calling down lightning. What else has he got?
Oh, just a little dabbling in dark magic.
Hell yeah. Wizard Turtle.
Yeah, this is what I mean. From the last version of the Death Battle debunk, they mentioned black magic and dark magic as if it was this hyped up thing that it's powerful on its own. But they don't give substantial feats for how powerful it is. Like, to add up to the hype that they're giving it. Like, it's unwarranted. Like, you can't just say, I got dark magic, bro. I got black magic, bro. No, do you honestly think a random wizard could just use dark magic on Galactus? No. You see, they need to bring feats into this. And you'll see that they don't give a lot for the black magic and dark magic thing besides transmutation hacks, which Eggman already has hacks resistance to. Funny enough.
The original NES manual even describes him as a sorcerer king. Magic is how he turned the toads into bricks, only countered by the princess's heart magic.
Yeah, they're making a general statement, a very general statement about Bowser's dark magic without backing it up, like with actual proof. Like, what is it resistant to? What has it overwritten? What magic hasn't worked on it? What magic hasn't countered it? What magic does Bowser's own magic counter? See, these are things that should be factored before you say something like that, because then it comes off as misleading or wank. You get it? Anyway, let's continue.
But that's not all the magic he's mastered. Telekinesis, creating perfect clones.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask, where's the statement that they are perfect clones? Like, do they have all the same abilities? Is there this statement where it's said that their powers are not unlike the original, or it's the same as the original and all of that? Because, you know, when you just say that, like, you're being disingenuous because you don't have the proof to back it up, and you're just making claims for the heck of it, you know? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Reanimating his undead skeleton.
I'm just gonna ask, and anyone could go into the comments about this. Where is it stated that he revived his dead skeleton? Like, where's the proof that skeleton Bowser or dry Bowser is dead? Because the funny thing about that is that there is a Mario game where it's revealed dry Bowser is like the dry Koopas are actually a species, and dry Bowser is literally a close family friend of Bowser's family. I'm serious. Look. So I'm gonna need some really good proof, you know, some really good proof, because this isn't working. This is not working. Also, I do want to mention that if dry Bowser is truly a damaged or dead Bowser, then the anti-feats, the anti-scaling that would arise from that would be very bad for this matchup. For example, when dry Bowser appears in some Mario games after Bowser is defeated, he hops out of lava. Now, if we assume that dry Bowser and Bowser are the same being, then that means that Bowser's body, it can't even handle lava. It can't even handle lava. Like, there's nothing special about the lava or any statements about it that would make it substantial. Like, yeah, it's unnatural in the sense that some parts of it are sentient, like there are lava people in it. But there's nothing crazy that excuses the anti-feats and anti-scaling that comes from that. Like, that is really bad for Bowser when he goes up against someone like Eggman, because Eggman has better stuff. He has better stuff to use than freaking lava. Like, and this is what I mean. You see, Death Battle mentions a bunch of things, but then when you go into it closely, you realize, like, very quickly how their arguments would actually lead to the ones they said would win would lose very badly. Oh my god. Okay, so some people might not get the gist of what I'm saying, but in the Mario games, like, there's usually a bunch of anti-feats for Bowser that occurs, and people don't really take this into account when power scaling because they're either biased, they don't know, or they're straight up ignorant. So I'm going to post the evolution of Bowser battles throughout the Mario games, and I'm also going to post the dry Bowser battles, because most of them involve pit defeats, like falling to a pit, and there's also lava defeats, like he just falls into the lava after being dropped in there. That's the end of it. And there's even like signals that he kind of died or was defeated, because there's this skull, there's this smoke skull that appears that confirms he was, you know, dealt with. And keep in mind, like, some of the deaths or defeats or whatever the heck, it's to the same crap that took him down before. Legitimately. I kid you not, some of those deaths are the same things he normally is taken down by. So it's not like Berserker from Fate Stay Night, where he gets defeated by one thing but is more or less immune to it the next time, or anything like that. No. It's not like Doomsday, who dies and comes back and is heavily resilient against it. It's not like that. It's just a rinse and repeat kind of deal. That has to be one of the most useless powers I've seen from a magic user. If someone can revive you, they do, but you don't gain any resistance towards the things that beat you before. That's basically how it is. Yeah. Let me just post it. And, you don't have to watch this long segment, you could skip it, but just know that a lot of these clips involve, Bowser be defeated due to pitfalls and lava. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. I wish I was, but I'm not.
I've got something difficult to talk Prince Peach.
I know he's not giving a mama. Someday, I'm bigger. I wanna fight that Mario again.
That's right, boy. Well, listen, a royal people like is as strong as ever. But now, let's get ready.
The vacation starts now.
And here's the dry Bowser battles as well. Yeah, at this point, like, you have to get what I'm trying to say here, or the point I'm trying to make. Bowser and Dry Bowser being the same person, which is likely true to a certain extent, has major implications that would be an anti-scale for Bowser in this entire fight. Because it is consistently shown that Bowser turns into Dry Bowser from pitfalls and lava. Now, to put it into perspective, the multiversal, universal scaling for Bowser is in like very few games. Very few. It would be what power scalers like to refer to as outliers. Outliers. And since Mario has no narrative for its power scaling, like, it doesn't. It literally does not. Those higher scaling metas or arguments, they can be thrown right out the window. So, if you use Bowser and Dry Bowser being the same guy, you would be severely handicapping Bowser here. It means he can easily be defeated by Eggman, who has higher accolades, higher scaling, higher statements, higher feats than Bowser. Multi-star busting statements. Universe destroying statements. Multiverse destroying statements. This is what Bowser is going up against as he dies to lava. This is consistent. This is literally consistent. So, don't know what to tell you. Even if you argued that Eggman was just star level, that is far hotter than lava. It would take Bowser out. And then when he turns into dry Bowser, he could just do it again. And that's the end of the matchup. This is something that Death Battle blatantly ignores, and it shows their level of bias and will to misrepresent a character to put the other character over. They did this with Flash versus Archie Song, by the way, where he said, oh, well, he's gotten knocked out by far less, but then ignores when Flash gets knocked out by Paper and all that stuff. It's crazy. But Death Battle fans will still worship Death Battle like their word of God. It's crazy. Okay, let's continue.
And worst of all, ruining every game of Mario Party. Hey, no! I stole those coins fair and square!
Bowser spent decades hoarding treasures, coins, magic star rods, warships, clown cars, you name it.
Yeah, there is no statement that Miyamoto makes where he says that Paper Mario's canon. He never says that. You could go out there and try to find insider things and interviews and lost media videos. You will never find it because he never says that. That's just the truth. If somebody says Miyamoto said that Paper Mario's canon, they are lying to you. He never said that. What they are most likely referring to is the video clip where someone asks if all the Marios are the same, but this is blatantly contradicted by Paper Jam. This isn't to say that Mario can't be Paper Mario, but to say that Miyamoto explicitly said that Mario is Paper Mario is pure disingenuousness. That's it.
This is the same guy that created multiple flying castles fashioned after his own face.
Yeah, he's definitely got an ego on him. He's talked about having a 4-digit IQ, but I've seen this moron put death traps in his own backyard. A man after my own heart.
Dude, they literally just showed the anti-feat. Okay, let's just continue.
Despite his clumsiness, Bowser's charisma and leadership brought many to his side. Not enough to defeat Mario, but his army doesn't make it easy on the Red Plumber.
They're the most wicked band of misfits this side of World 8-4. The Koopa Troop.
An army spanning multiple territories across the Mushroom World and beyond.
Goombas, Koopas, the Troopas, and the others make up the infantry. Some with wings, some in shoes, and some even in race cars. They're the red shirts, first in and first out.
Piranha plants, bloopers, and lakitus use their surroundings to get the jump on unsuspecting prey, by land, sea, or sky.
We'd be here forever jotting down the small fries, booze, shy guys, sentient bombs with feet, and more.
It was imperative for Bowser to nurture a unit that covers their own vulnerabilities. For example, Kamek and King Boo both have magic, magic, the blue has battlefield control with illusions and destabilizing dimensions, while Kamek focuses on buffing allies, canceling enemy powers, summoning anything he desires.
Or swapping my items to screw up my Mario Party lead. Not again.
Speaking of items, most of the minions can use pretty much any power-up Mario can. The Goombas make frequent use of Tanuki tails, and Bowser can really get into the cat roleplay. But as the Koopa Troop grew and grew, it started to feel less like an army and more like a family unit.
Oh, you mean like his kids, the Koopalings?
Yeah, they're adopted.
What's the difference?
Good point. Bowser took them in and even trained them in dark magic.
Though no one's as spoiled as his natural Nepo baby, Bowser Jr., captain of the Koopa Troop.
Spoiled is an understatement. Remember his escapades as Shadow Mario? He terrorized Delfino Plaza with literal evil paint. That whole debacle was basically his attempt at elementary school art class.
And I bet Bowser still has some on the fridge. But really, the king is very protective of his kids. If the fam's in trouble, he can will himself to transform into a giant kaiju, all to crush whatever bully's talking smack.
You mean the same kaiju Bowser that can be defeated by lava and pitfalls? That same one? Yeah, that's not very impressive. Let's just continue.
Maybe a little overkill. Just one punch from Giant Bowser launched a castle out of orbit. Taking into account the flight path and the scale of their universe, Bowser's punch must have hit with a force of over 125 trillion tons of TNT.
Well, first of all, that's an AP feat, not a speed feat. You can launch something faster than you can run. You know that, right? Next, the black box. How should I explain this? It's vague. It's very vague. They say lassoing celestial objects, but celestial objects like what? Stars, black holes, cosmic dust, planets, galaxies. Like, what are they talking about here? And the ice flower thing is way out of context. Allow me to explain. So here's this scan from the Mario and Luigi games that says the ice flower can freeze the sun. I'll show it here. Now, the problem is they're not referring to the actual sun. They're referring to the enemy, the sun. Like this. You would know this if you played the Mario games. They would have known this if they did that. See? See that? And for you guys to see what I'm seeing, I'm just going to post clips of the sun in the Mario games. And this is very embarrassing. It's crazy that Death Battle couldn't put the context into what they were putting down, and they just ended up misinforming a bunch of people. And as for the black hole part, I have nothing. The feat seems legitimate enough, so I can't really say anything on that. Anyway, let's continue.
Considering how Yoshi punted poor Raphael the Raven so hard he exploded into a constellation of stars.
Guys, are you actually eating this up? This is a blatant lie. All Yoshi did was send them flying Team Rocket style. They would literally be arguing that Ash and Pikachu are star level because they send Team Rocket into the sky and you see a little star sparkle. Like that's what they're arguing. And it's like, how do you guys fall for this stuff? Do your own research. You'll see that they're lying. My God. And I'm not saying that Pikachu isn't star level. I'm saying that for that reason, that's not the case. Anyway, let's continue.
This isn't even close to Bowser's full strength.
So don't bully his kid, especially if he falls into some of Bowser Jr.'s set of black paint. That stuff's scary.
Enough to unleash Bowser's Dark Fury, a form whose very steps cause widespread natural disasters.
Okay, seriously, how does Mario ever beat this guy? He's like Godzilla, Doctor Strange, and John Cena all in one big turtle.
Nah, don't disrespect Doctor Strange like that. Doctor Strange is far better feats, far better scaling than Bowser. Anyway, continue.
We're not even to the best part. Bowser's dark magic became so potent he eventually learned how to warp the very fabric of reality.
Anything the king imagines, he makes happen. He turned all of Yoshi's Island into a storybook. And remember those painted worlds in Mario 64? Yeah, he made those. And the staircase that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Oh God, does anyone know how to BLJ?
He also stole ultra-powerful items like the Wonder Flower, which can mold reality like Play-Doh, and the Dream Stone, which can be used to wish someone out of existence.
But his most iconic thefts are those big shiny power stars.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Infant power stars, aka Lumas, can become whole galaxies. They also ferried Mario across the universe in 3 seconds. That's 489 quadrillion times light speed.
Obviously, the Big Daddy Grand Stars are even crazier. Bowser used one to power his space kingdom, but then guess who showed up to ruin everything? It's a him!
And when the Grand Star was freed, it caused a chain reaction that destroyed the entire universe via a massive black hole.
Thanks, Space God, that Rosalina showed up to save the day.
Not that Bowser needed saving. He's been swallowed by another black hole and thrown into a star that went supernova.
Okay, I'm going to keep this 100%. The leaps in logic are insane here. First of all, they said that Bowser didn't need saving from a universe collapsing because he survived being sucked into a black hole and a star going supernova. Okay. You could just tell that someone biased wrote that and told them to say that, or they were biased themselves and chose to say that. The destruction of a star or the pull of a black hole is nothing compared to the energy of an entire universe. That's crazy to even suggest that they are even remotely comparable and that those small things would be the reason why Bowser wouldn't need saving. And keep this in mind, right? In the guides, it is blatantly stated that Bowser was saved from a terrible fate. This implies he would have died, okay? It implies he would have died, got deleted. End of story. That's it. Oh my god. No. I don't know how you guys can eat this stuff up from Death Battle. This is blatant misinformation.
Imagine if this crazy OP fire turtle had to fight himself. Oh wait, he did, and he beat the hell out of him.
They explicitly state the clone was no match for the original Bowser. Like, they explicitly state this. Why are you lying? Why are you guys lying? Why are you guys lying? You see, they do this to put the one they want to win over and put the one they want to lose under. It's crazy. And they have misinformed people about materials regarding characters before. They did it in Jean Grey versus Raven, where they said that, Phoenix couldn't restore souls when there's comics where the Phoenix can do that. They said that Snow was on Sonic in the Archie comics, where he stopped the quantum dial. That was moon dust or smoke. That wasn't snow. You can clearly tell by the way it's drawn. Anyway, the point is, stop worshiping Death Battle and do your own research. You'll find a lot of the things they say are wrong. And you'll be more well equipped to talk about these kind of things, because this is just sad. They do all of this to hype up Bowser, but when you look into the context, it's not impressive at all.
With all this power, it's a wonder he still hasn't conquered the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, Culex is not extra-dimensional, he's two-dimensional. In fact, he's an anti-scale to Mario. His existence would suggest Mario doesn't follow dimensional tiering at all. Keep that in mind.
Perhaps it's because his visions of grandeur were never really what he sought. Surrounding him is a crew of outcasts and miscreants like him, ride or dies that can't be swayed against him.
Oh, are you saying he's secretly happy because he's got a big monster family now?
Yes, but also when they actually worked together, they legitimately conquered most of the known universe. So
he's a baddie through and through who will teleport through space and time to show you what's what, because he's no ordinary Koopa. Make way for the king!
Now we get to the Eggman part. This should be fun.
Citizens of Earth, lend me your ears.
Yeah, I need you guys to lend your ears to me. They're already going ahead and dismissing a lot of the materials that could be used for Sonic, including the crossovers, even though they're canon. For example, the Sonic and Mega Man crossover, which had the infamous Super Genesis Wave feat. It's canon. Ian Flynn even said that it was the intention that Worlds Collide is the game universe. Let me show it here.
Here's a question from T-Ranger. In Worlds Collide, what kind of world is Sonic's? He mentions the Egg Viper, so it is more like the games. But if so, how did the Freedom Fighters fit into this altered world that was used for the crossover, considering we saw that Snively still exists, and Sonic had to have known about some history with him and the Freedom Fighters in order to attempt to restore the old world? I'd just like to know what kind of history this world had, and if characters like Mina and the multiple echidna characters like Lee and Da still existed or not.
It's been so long now, but I'm pretty sure the intention with Worlds Collide was that it was just the game universe. And I think, again, it's been a while, but I think that Snively cameo was not intended. I could be wrong. It's been a bit. At the very least, it was meant to be kind of the foundational knowledge of what the new continuity would be going in, but not 100% because we still were working on that while Worlds Collide was still going on. Basically, Worlds Collide was meant to be just a pure Sonic Mega Man crossover. None of the extraneous stuff. None of the extra media material.
Now, even if you said that Worlds Collide wasn't canon, right? Ian Flynn does say that Game Sonic could do what Archie Sonic did with the Super Genesis wave.
I don't know. Oh well. I will at least live long enough to ask this question. Well, to read it at least. This one is from Avatar of Chaos. Can Game Supersonic do what Archie Sonic did against the Super Genesis wave? Assuming he was in the same world and situation, obviously. The Chaos Emeralds of both worlds have similar mechanisms, the dreams, concepts, and the thoughts into reality thing. So I'd say it's possible.
Yeah, my intention with that incarnation of Sonic was basically he was Game Sonic.
Yeah, that was that was going into the reboot, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Makes sense to me.
And Ian Flynn has stated in the Bumble King forums when it was out, you could check through the Wayback Machine, that Game Sonic and Archie Sonic's battle would end in a stalemate. And this was around the era of Sonic Generations and Sonic Lost World. So, yeah, you could pretty much apply any scaling you have of Archie Sonic to Game Sonic. Let me show it. Like, everyone knows why Death Battle did that, or tried to pull that. It's to make the battle not a mismatch. But it'll still end up a mismatch, as you'll see throughout this video. And I explain why. Alright, let's go.
Imagine a world of endless possibility where people are free as the wind. Isn't it disgusting? Now imagine a better world, one with proper guidance and the technology to bring about global peace.
But Wiz, only a brilliant mind can make that happen.
Not just any brilliant mind, he's a genius at heart who knows the dangers within. He's Ivo Robotnik.
Dr. Eggman.
As a mad scientist myself, his story is my inspiration, just as Eggman's was his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, who sought to create world peace through technology. But then his beloved granddaughter, Maria, was killed by the Guardian Unit of Nations, better known as
Gun. They're frickin' called G-U-N. Anyway, Lil Eggy grew up a lonely narcissist because all his family talked about was Maria this, Maria that. Boo-hoo!
Neglect and envy tainted Ivo's goals of following Gerald's footsteps. He distanced himself from his grandfather's legacy. Instead of bettering the world, he would conquer it to get the attention he deserved.
No, you mean craved. Desperately craved.
Tomato, tomato.
You just said it the same way twice.
He aimed to establish Eggman Land, a capital of science. And this paradise would have worked just fine if not for that blasted Sonic the Hedgehog.
For years, Eggman's plans literally blew up in his his face, and he's a very sore loser.
But just like any good experiment, the doctor did more testing, seeking better results.
He's created plenty of knickknacks to terrorize the world with. A laser gun, a cloning ray, mind control cannons, a flying armada, typical evil scientist stuff.
Then there's the big ones. He invented a spatial displacement trap, which, while online, scatters a target's atoms across space. Oh, and then there's the metal virus, which transmutes organic tissue into living metal zombies. It's so deadly, it created a plague that nearly wiped out all life on Earth.
Shame Eggman never made himself immune to it. That's a whoopsie.
And when he's not duping you with decoys, he's riding in style with the Eggmobile. It's lightweight for maneuverability, but tough enough to withstand moon-sized explosions and even the center of a black hole.
Yeah, so I do want to mention that the black hole in Colors is not a normal black hole. Eggman does imply that the Wisp's energy, the Hypergoon, is superior to the Chaos Emeralds, at least at the time of Sonic Colors.
Your little party with other people's planets is over.
That's not... But they're even more powerful than the Chaos Emeralds! No! This should be just a fraction of the Nega-Wisp power!
Maybe the Nega-Wisps don't like you either, Eggman. Looks like I win this round.
Unlimited color!
Sorry, Eggman. It looks like the Wisps have sided with me on this one.
Frenzy! Final color blaster! But that's... My Nega-Wisp was to be perfect! Ah!
So I don't know why they're treating that as if it's a normal black hole. In fact, that would just be a compliment to Sonic's durability for being able to survive that when it generates power comparable to the Chaos Emeralds. And speaking of which, Death Battle is going to say something pretty important that's relevant to this near the end of the Death Battle, like after Bowser quote unquote wins. So do pay attention, because they're going to mention the power of the stars and the other things, including the Phantom Ruby. But they're not going to mention how powerful they are and their scaling and things like that, which could have easily changed the course of the battle. Like, it could have changed the outcome very easily. Okay, let's continue.
I mean, it's kind of lame looking, but he can plug it into big bad mechs like the Egg Walker or the Death Egg Robot, whose giant laser once obliterated 77,000 cubic meters of rock in an instant. That's like having an atomic bomb in your pocket all the time. Oh, okay, maybe this guy's pretty cool.
Eggman built machines for a long list of combat situations. Some look like knights, others use extraterrestrial sources like the Wisps.
Again, they don't talk about how powerful they are. This is a problem. With what I showed before, like the video clip of the Nega Wisp armor, that could reveal information pretty important to their verdict, you know? But no, they just leave it. They just say, oh, it's an extraterrestrial source, man. It's an extraterrestrial source. Frankly, it's pretty lazy.
And then there's the orbital bases, like the Death Egg.
The reference is obvious, but Darth Vader's version is like a toy compared to the Death Egg, which can annihilate stars. Poof! A whole constellation gone in one shot.
Now remember, they showed this, and then showed Bowser falling into lava and being defeated. Like, this kind of stuff, it's this kind of stuff that they show, and then have the other character winning, that just gets people riled up, and for the right reasons.
That's not to say Eggman doesn't enjoy scrapping with blue hedgehogs himself. Enter the Egg Dragoon.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this because people sleep on the Egg Dragoon. They think that for some reason Sonic doesn't experience power progression. I've talked about this in the Infinite, the Jackal Underrated Powerhouse video. Basically, there's a statement in the game of Sonic Unleashed that the Egg Dragoon is the product of Eggman putting years of research into finding ways to defeat Sonic, and that the Egg Dragoon is the pinnacle of Eggman's mad science. So, at that point, Egg Dragoon would scale above the Egg Wizard and the Egg Salamander, which could fight Super Sonic and Super Blaze respectively. I just want you to know that. Let me show it.
Hell yeah! The rawest of the battle mechs! It's got electric drills! It's got ice missiles! It's got a whole lot of bullets! My God, Wiz! I need it!
And don't forget, Eggman built all of these things himself.
Yeah, I'm going to be real. The Time Eater has scaling to the Chaos Emeralds. In Sonic Generations, the Japanese version, it is stated that Time Eater was in the process of destroying the Chaos Emeralds by classic Metal Sonic. Let me show it here. Yeah, I just want you to keep this in mind, because Death Battle will gloss over this and act like it never happened. Meanwhile, they're going to say something important later that I want you to pay attention to. I'll point it out when it happens. Anyway, let's continue.
Maybe world domination is in his grasp yet.
One problem, Eggman's a turbo loner. No hobbies, no friends, no wife, no nothing.
Come on, he has friends. I mean, he's a feminist. Oh, okay, maybe not, but what about Infinite?
Notice that they will not go over Infinite statements or actual feats. It's actually kind of insane. Like, It's like they put no effort into Eggman's side, and it's very disgusting. I'll go ahead and show the statement where he stated to be Sonic's strongest foe yet. And, you know, well, you probably don't know. People will probably say that, why are you showing me this? Infinite isn't stronger than Solaris. Well, yes, he is. I know what you're gonna say, but it's just stated. It's not supported by the material. I mean, there are a bunch of statements in the material, such as Infinite being Eggman's greatest weapon, or ultimate masterpiece, or ultimate weapon. But people don't like to bring that up because it's in the game. Next, it's funny that people don't mention that if we went by the logic of the feats get over, statements get under, then Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku would be stronger than Super Perfect Cell, because Namek Saga Goku actually has feats. Meanwhile, Super Perfect Cell only has statements. You can argue all you want about, but Super Perfect Cell said he was going to destroy the entire solar system. Guess what? He never did it. So, tell you what, if you could get me a statement that is after Infinite's put over pack about Solaris being stronger than Infinite, that's fine. And no Ian Flynn statements neither, because the statement about Infinite being the strongest Sonic foe came straight from Sega. Unless Ian's words is coming directly from Sega, Ian Flynn's words don't mean jack. It don't mean jack. Because Ian Flynn himself has stated that if his words contradict Sega, go with Sega. That's it. That's it. And I'll show you this too. Hold on.
All right, here's one from the Might of Gebra. What you say or said on the Bumblecast can be insightful and acceptable, but if Sega, Sonic Team's interviews, websites, materials, social medias, etc. say otherwise, that's the ultimate say-so in source, right?
Oh, yeah. Again, I am not an official spokesman. I'm speaking from a position of a Gigasonic nerd. If the official line is something completely different, go with the official line, because it's official.
Stronger than Solaris, and he gets over. He is stronger than Egg Wizard, stronger than the Egg Dragoon, stronger than the Egg Salamander, stronger than the Time Eater, and there's nothing you could do about it. That's it. Keep coping. And I even had Ataro Toyota weigh in on this stuff. I asked him the question on the statements about Infinite. And he literally confirmed that that's what it was saying. It was like, Eggman said this, and like, come on, bro. Like, no, bro, you guys are cooked. Stop. Like, Ataro Toyota is the worldview supervisor for the Sonic series. He's a Sonic Team member, and he worked for Sonic Forces. And this is what he has to say. And Ataro Toyota is leagues higher than Ian Flynn. I gotta say it to you guys harshly for you to get the point, because if somebody is nice and doesn't show conviction, you'll abuse it and keep trying to go ahead with your nonsense. Infinite gets over. That's it. And we also have the Mega Death Egg robot, who is even stronger than Infinite.
Sure, they might have joined forces over a mutually sought revenge against Shadow, but it counts. Sort of. Who needs friends when you can build friends?
Obviously, Eggman has a tough time collaborating with others, so he just built his own army instead.
The Eggman Empire.
The Badniks are mass-produced foot soldiers, bus bombers, crab meats, caterkillers, egg robos, and don't forget those cute little moto bugs. The Badniks may seem simple, but they're led by an elite, multi-talented unit. The hard-boiled heavies, really leaning into the egg thing, huh?
The army has a wide variety of troops, even your classic comedy duo with Orbot and Cubot. They're Eggman's assistants and immense disappointments. Every genius has their duds.
Hey, at least they're not Scratch and Grounder. But that's why he's made top-notch bots modeled after the Sonic cast, like everyone's favorite robo-faker, Metal Sonic.
Metal Sonic has the most horsepower in the Eggman Empire. He has the moves and speed of Sonic and then some. He's had his rebellious phases, but Eggman's reprogrammed Metal to better follow his commands. Additionally, when upgraded to his Neo form...
Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt this. I do want to let people know that the Neo Metal Sonic, like in the IDW comics, is far stronger than the one in Sonic Heroes and Rivals and etc. This is because the IDW comics is set after Sonic Forces, and Neo Metal Sonic explicitly implies that he was made to be stronger than Infinite. As in, he was supposed to be the greatest weapon in the final battle against Sonic. But he was completed too late. That's what is explicitly stated. Neo Metal Sonic is described as a mad genius like Dr. Eggman, with Sonic's abilities and limitless stamina, which Sonic already has. He is stated to be Eggman's greatest creation, and he can use the power of the Master Emerald. And he has fought Super Sonic in Sonic Speed Simulator, which is canon. So there you go.
Sonic could copy biological data, including unique powers like Shadow's time stop technique, chaos control.
He can even copy Silver's psychokinesis, and with enough chaos energy, he powers up into Super Neo Metal Sonic.
Though everything would change with the appearance of the Phantom Ruby. One of many trump cards at Eggman's disposal, the Phantom Ruby alters reality by manipulating perception.
Basically, super OP illusions, but in Infinite's hands, it's a weapon of mass destruction. I don't know how illusions translate to body replicas, changing gravity, or making a fake sun, but go off, King!
And when used on the planet's consciousness, which is a thing, the Ruby granted Eggman the Light Man form.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this because Death Battle definitely isn't going to tell this to you, but Lightman Eggman is comparable to Supersonic and on equal footing. It's stated by the official Sonic the Hedgehog Japanese channel. It's also stated in the storyline they are referencing, which is the otherworldly comedy, or Isekai Ogiri. You know, take your pick. Let me show it right here. And even though he used the planet's consciousness as a target, he was able to create entire worlds that revolved around outer space. So he created universes. But Death Battle won't tell you that. They won't tell you that. Because they do the bare minimum to the lowest research. Oh, and keep in mind, Ataru Toyota did say that Otherworld comedy takes place after Sonic Forces. So the Supersonic that Lightman Eggman is comparable to is stomp gaps above the one in Sonic 06. Just wanted to let you know that.
Yep, apparently Super Eggman is canon, though it is pretty complicated to manifest.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say this. The black note that they left on top, that is the most bare minimum research I've ever seen. They probably think that world refers to just planets when one of the worlds mentions outer space, which is more than just a planet. But regardless, this is a major problem because they're probably going to say that the Lightman form is planetary or some crap like that. And it isn't true neither.
But the Phantom Ruby isn't the only souped-up gem Eggman has.
No. The Phantom Ruby that Eggman had was already on par with Supersonic. The Phantom Ruby prototype that Eggman used in Isekai Ogiri was already powered up by the original Ruby. He just didn't discard it and chose to use that. Ataru Toyota says so. It's literally the same one from Sonic Forces. Lamau? Death Battle never change.
He's used the Jeweled Scepter to make the world-shattering Egg Wizard.
I hope they're not using world-shattering as in just planetary. Because at bare minimum, the power of the stars are the energies between Sonic and Blaze's worlds. And Ian Flynn has said that they are pan-dimensional. This is in addition to having power outputs that was initially stronger than the Chaos Emeralds, the Soul Emeralds, and even the Master Emerald. And for the love of God, Supersonic explicitly states that he cannot beat Egg Wizard without working together with Blaze. Like, yeah. And this is weaker than Infinite, mind you.
Then, on more than one occasion, he's effortlessly gathered the super rare, super powerful Chaos Emeralds. You know, the things that power Super Saiyan Hedgehog.
Eggman built and built and built, and eventually he built something that started to build on him. Sage was originally designed as a mere assistant, but through an alien encounter, she was granted actual sentience.
Sage is already super powerful, but now she's also super smart. She thought up millions of battle plans all at once to defeat the massive titans.
And you can barely remember where you put your dune buggy.
I know exactly where it is. It's at the police impound. Thank you very much.
Sage was Eggman's saving grace. He had previously found machines with personality lacking, but Sage's great adequacy in serving her function provided Eggman with something that, for the first time, he'd hate to lose. In essence, a sort of daughter.
So, like any good daddy, gave her the keys to his car, his spaceship, and his orbital death ray. Hell, now she controls the entire army.
And this frankly unheard of trust from Eggman became crucial in defeating the End, a primordial entity so mighty even Supersonic struggled against it.
Their battle can only be described as peak fiction, because charged by 7 Chaos Emeralds, Supersonic's no joke.
The power of one emerald can shift continents. All 7 together can shift the universe.
And kill some pretty terrifying bosses, like Eggman's Time Eater, which ripped apart space-time like tissue paper.
In short, Chaos Emeralds give thoughts power. With them, Eggman's best machines can run indefinitely while matching the greatest powers ever seen. Like when 3 supers battled Solaris, who tried to destroy time itself. Solaris extended its chaos across multiple timelines in about 20 seconds, for 73 quadrillion times light speed.
It's funny though, while Eggman's smarts have sort of defeated Sonic here and there, he's pretty effective when he teams up with the Blue Blur to save the world.
Well, recall how Professor Gerald was a good person before losing the granddaughter he loved. In Eggman's case, now that he has Sage, perhaps a similar story is playing out in reverse.
Nah, Eggy will always have a harebrained scheme behind his cufflinks.
So watch out, critters and plebeians of the world. He is the Eggman, and he's got the master plan.
Yeah, so I skipped the battle. We're going to go right into the so-called reasons why Bowser won according to Death Battle. It's going to be full of BS. But bear with me here. Let's continue.
This war was not an easy one to win, which might seem surprising given how the Sonic series is not afraid to show how tough its cast is, while Mario's comes across as more cartoony.
Oh my god, I'm not sure if you can see me put my hand on my face in utter disappointment, but I'm telling you, I'm doing exactly that. The fact that they said that the Mario-verse is over the Sonic-verse because they're more cartoony has to be one of the dumbest arguments I've ever seen from Death Battle. A verse being cartoony doesn't just mean they automatically scale above multiversal, hyperversal, outerversal, and etc. levels of power. Things that the Sonic verse has shown to us. Like, I don't even know where they got this idea from. It's frankly very stupid. It would take me a full video. I don't think I could list all the reasons why that is a dumb argument. I'm just going to say it's a very dumb point, and that only people like the Death Battle meat writers, Mario meat writers, people that can't scale, or people who can't use logic for whatever reason would believe it. Only they would believe it. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's continue.
But as it turns out, Bowser had everything he needed to take Chrome Dome down. Strap in, this one's a lot, so we'll break it down into 5 categories.
First up is physical stats. Bowser pretty handedly outmatched any of Eggman's usual mechs, like the Egg Dragoon or the Death Egg Robot.
Okay, I'm going to leave the Death Egg robot out of this. But the Egg Dragoon, which scales above the Egg Wizard? Heck no. At the time of Sonic Unleashed, the Egg Dragoon is explicitly stated to be the pinnacle of Eggman's mad science. The Egg Wizard solos the entire Marioverse. That's it. Like, that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. That's not debatable. That's not debatable. The only point at which it's not true is if Sega and Nintendo come out and say, oh, yeah, you know, Mario and Sonic characters, you know, they go hand in hand. You know, they're evenly matched. They're rivals to each other. Yeah. They match themselves in all stats and stuff like that. But that has not happened yet, and that's a lie.
The Death Egg robot could level cities. Bowser could punch a castle out of orbit.
Yeah, in Sonic Lost World, Eggman absorbs the planet's energy. He states that its destructive force it produces cannot be measured. This is the same Eggman who is able to measure Solaris' power in Sonic 06. The same thing with the Time Eater. This is way beyond throwing something out of orbit. I don't even know why they are comparing these low-ass stats. We know Eggman is higher than that. Death Battle showed the stats in the analysis. So, Death Battle is clearly trying to underscore Eggman and make Bowser seem more impressive. To make it seem like Bowser had a reason to win. Let's continue.
The Death Egg could destroy stars, but Yoshi could match that level of power.
He didn't match the level of power of destroying stars. He knocked Raphael into the sky, Team Rocket style. If Raphael actually was turned into a star, he would be dead and he would not appear in any more games. Or there would be a statement that Comet returned him back to life. This did not happen. He's in the Paper Mario series, he's in later Mario entries, later Yoshi entries as well. There is no excuse for this. This is blatant misinformation.
And Bowser's strength is certainly above the green dinosaurs.
I wouldn't agree with certainly unless you take that hyperbole statement of Bowser being many times stronger than Mario. I forget the number. I think it was trillions, billions, millions or something. If you take that literally, then yeah, I can see you easily getting Bowser above Yoshi, but like the fact that Bowser has that much of a strength advantage and still loses would actually be a con in this matchup with Eggman and would like debunk that entire point. So yeah. And that's another problem with the, oh, Mario's more cartoony than Sonic. It makes it hard to actually scale their feats. We don't know if it's actually genuine or if it's an exaggeration, metaphor, or hyperbole for something else. Which is a major con to the scaling.
Plus, while both Bowser and Eggman's tech survived black holes, Bowser's was much larger.
This just goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Bowser did not survive the black hole, supernova, whatever. He was saved by Rosalina. 2. Eggman's black hole that he dealt with from the wisps, like the hyper Gohan energy, that rivals the Chaos Emeralds. It's actually way more powerful than portrayed. His is actually a greater feat by far. Also, Eggman technically survived the erasure of reality from the Time Meter. So, yeah.
So, he may win stats, but this could change with their powers. With so many items and minions, that could make all that a moot point.
Aside from power-up items, both could manipulate minds.
Yeah, there's a problem. One, Eggman's mind control is powered by far superior sources of power compared to Bowser's sources of power. Next, Eggman has created precautions for mind control, such as when he resisted Starline's hypnosis. And he would have applied this into his robots. First of all, we don't even know if Bowser's kind of mind control even works on robots. So, like, that's a dead end.
Create duplicate.
Yeah, here's the problem. Eggman's kind of duplicates don't get one-shotted by any old thing. One hit takes the double cherries duplicates out. Meanwhile, Eggman's duplicates are stated to be just as strong as the originals. And they don't just get one-shotted. We can see that in Sonic the Fighters and Sonic Forces.
Wait to see how long you last against this.
Come out and fight me yourself and I'll mop you up real quick.
Impudent runt. I'm going to savor watching you suffer. this easy, are you? No matter. Crushing will be all the more satisfying. Lose to the likes of you again.
That was a blast. Bring some chili dogs next time.
Wait a second. Speaking of which, where was Zavok through that death battle? Seriously, why wasn't he in there? He was an ally of Eggman in Sonic Lost World, and he was an ally of Eggman in Team Sonic Racing. You know what? I'm so done with Death Battle, man.
It's an alter space-time.
Yeah, they seem to be removing a lot of context on which character affects space-time on a greater scale. Because the Time Eater, the Egg Wizard, the Egg Salamander, they've all affected space-time on a higher scale than anything Bowser has done. They're just being disingenuous here.
However, Bowser had a significant edge in having access to the majority of his abilities at all times.
Yeah, no. Just no. For example, in Super Mario Galaxy, Bowser is quite literally stripped of his advantages between fights very frequently. Heck, in the final battle, the most important one, he loses control of his floating planet as Mario attacks him and beats him up, forcing him to engage in a more vulnerable state. Next, in New Super Mario Bros., in the first game of the series, Bowser is knocked into lava, where he's completely reduced to bones, requiring magic intervention from Bowser Jr. to restore him, clearly showing that he doesn't always retain his form or tools. Like he needs intervention to get over. Next, Super Mario Sunshine. Bowser's mechanical themed battle vehicle that's based on Bowser himself is destroyed by Mario, leaving him defeated and unable to keep his advantage. Next, the Mario and Luigi RPG series. Bowser is weakened very frequently or manipulated in these games. Like in Bowser's Inside Story, Fawful takes away most of Bowser's strength, leaving him powerless until he regains it later. And in the Paper Mario series, while Bowser usually starts off strong in the entries of those games, he often loses access to very important power-ups throughout the games. In Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, he attempts to claim the Shadow Queen's power, but is rejected, leaving him powerless against her. Now, Eggman, on the other hand, has shown his abilities to keep his equipment far more consistently, frequently escaping battles to rebuild his forces with little consequence. If Bowser can be stripped of his gear through different Mario games, then the argument that he always has his equipment falls apart.
Yeah, Eggman can do some crazy stuff, but only across different mechs.
Bowser can only do worse things than Eggman, but only across different power-ups. See how dumb that sounds? This is a battle where all their power-ups are considered. all their equipment are considered. Why are you even using this argument? It's disingenuous. But that's Death Battle, they'll use it.
Fortresses or space bases, Bowser's all natural. He's got all his best powers built in.
I have no words. I'm just going to post the history of him using power-ups to amp himself to try to beat Yoshi, Mario, whoever, and like we're just gonna move to the next part because this is so disingenuous. Oh my god. See that built-in shit they're talking about? Me too.
And he ain't even a robot.
Meaning he wins the war of attrition.
That is a flat-out lie. But let's continue.
He even had counters for battle enders like the metal virus and spatial displacement trap. Context matters for those weapons, and both backfired in the past.
First of all, the Deadly Six, who should have been in this death battle, along with Eggman, were the reasons why the metal virus backfired. they had the abilities to control the system that the metal virus functioned on, because it's synonymous with robotics, and the Deadly Six can control machines. Next, the spatial displacement trap had to be overloaded with Chaos Emerald energy, which Bowser does not have anything close to in terms of power. So that's out of the question. Bowser has no means of countering the spatial displacement trap and the metal virus, which, when it mutates, becomes unsustainable.
But more importantly, Bowser could simply reverse the effects with his transmutation magic.
Okay, let's make one thing clear. Death Battle does not have evidence that the Star Rod or any of Bowser's equipment could do that. Keep in mind, even the Chaos Emerald's capability on whether it could deal with the metal virus was put into question. In the IDW comic, you can read it yourself. Meanwhile, the metal virus also was able to infect Sonic and Shadow, who could survive the Time Eater's erasure of energy, color, space, time, and reality. Star Rod's getting cooked too, and so is Bowser as the result. If they think otherwise, they should get proof for that. But until then, no.
Conversely, most of Eggman's robots could get turned into, say, a frog or a block with no reliable way back.
Do they know that some of Eggman's robots are able to resist transmutation? This is from Sonic Heroes. Like, they didn't play the game. Anyway, next, this is BS.
Bowser takes the edge in powers.
But definitely not for intelligence. Come on, you have a 4-digit IQ, Bowser? Really? That's cute. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bowser's not an idiot, usually. Just really, really clumsy.
How anyone can look at the Mario games and Bowser's biggest fumbles and not come to the conclusion that he is an idiot is actually kind of crazy. Anyway, let's continue. That's an hilarious lie right there.
Poor fella.
Meanwhile, Eggman's an engineering genius who rarely ever gets bested by brains.
Easy dub. Now, let's talk trump cards.
As in, items so powerful they could decide the entire outcome on their own.
The Phantom Ruby was super dangerous, but specifically targets perception.
Yeah, they took that out of context. Sonic Mania explicitly has it distort space and time and all of that. So, yeah. Keep in mind, it's also compared to the Master Emerald. So even if it doesn't affect reality, it still has a power yield comparable to the Chaos Emeralds and Master Emerald. Way beyond anything in Bowser's army.
Unlike Bowser's Wonder Flower, which mucks up reality for real.
You can't be serious. Okay. I'm going to ask anyone or Death Battle to do a task where they get a feat of the Wonder Flower affecting the universe. If you can't do that, the Wonder Flower gets under the Phantom Ruby, simply due to the fact that the Phantom Ruby created an entirely new universe in Isekai Ogiri. Can't do it? Okay, the Phantom Ruby gets over. And this was ignoring that Lightman Eggman, who uses the Phantom Ruby, was comparable to Supersonic, who uses the Chaos Emeralds.
The Ruby affected a whole planet, but the Wonder Flower had the power to alter the universe.
No, you're not doing that. If the Phantom Ruby is not multiversal and up when it has scaling to the Chaos Emeralds, You're not getting the Wonder Flower to universe level with no feats. Get that shit out of here.
Also, the Dreamstone's ability to wish anything out of existence.
If he could have actually done that, nothing would have stopped him. Mario would have been defeated, and he would have actually had a feat supporting he could do that. It's clearly hyperbole.
Would have no problem cleaning up Super Neo Metal Sonic or Time Eater.
Lamau, what? Super Neo Metal Sonic is comparable to Super Sonic, and Time Eater literally survived reality erasure. What are they talking about? They're lying out of their asses, and it's so blatant to see.
Their most prized possessions was a tougher call. Together, the Chaos Emeralds can break the universe.
Multiple universes, actually. Multiple. Even in Sonic Rush, both Blaze's world and Sonic's world, which are two universes, were going to be destroyed by the Chaos Emeralds.
But so can the Grand Stars.
Which Bowser does not scale to, nor can he survive it. He would die in the process. This is very clear. That's why he was saved by Rosalina in Super Mario Galaxy.
Arguably not as much given the Emerald scaling to Solaris.
Or the Egg Wizard, or the Time Eater, or Infinite, or Zavok, or the Egg Robo, or Razor Jim, or the Phantom Ruby, or the Power of the Stars, or the Master Emerald. You get the point. Bowser was fucked here.
Though Power Stars and Grand Stars are far more plentiful.
Hey, quick question. How many ants from our world would it take to beat Galactus? Exactly. That's how stupid that argument sounds.
Clearly, this is getting fairly abstract, and both had multiple options that could win the day instantly.
Eggman's methods of winning actually works and can be executed on the other. Bowser's are fodder and don't work on Eggman.
So the safest bet is to call this category a tie.
I wouldn't call having 3+ stopgap level things on your arsenal a tie. But sure, whatever saves face of your errors.
Which means it's finally time to compare their armies. Eggman seems deadlier at first glance.
1. He is deadlier at first glance. 2. Are they actually trying to use the pure hearts? Are you serious? The pure hearts only counter the chaos hearts. That's all they're meant for. They don't amp Bowser. They don't restore reality on the level that Time Eater and etc. erased or could erase. Like, where are they getting this from? They didn't play the games. They didn't watch the cutscenes. They didn't read the guidebooks. Where are they getting this from? Next, using statements for the cosmology of Sonic and Mario? Sonic's cosmology is far bigger. I made an entire document on it. You should check it out, by the way. I'll link it in the description.
I mean, look at all those buzzsaws and rockets. Metal Sonic's speed and power alone could solo most of the Koopa Troop.
Most? I think you mean all. The Koopa Troop don't have the feats and statements that Metal Sonic has.
But the Eggman Empire lacked something Bowser had in spades: teamwork and loyalty.
Death Battle's motto, their premise for the show, is that they take the characters at their best for the battle to determine who would truly win a death battle. This dishonest argument weakens Eggman's forces intentionally. If Eggman's army was considered at its peak, then efficiency to be measured based on moments when it successfully conquers territories, build mega-scale machines, and overwhelm Sonic's forces. Not being a walking contradiction to each other's strengths, because that is not Eggman's forces at their best. That is never stated to be their best. Not only that, but they left out a bunch of characters that would have even given a little validity to that statement. For example, Death Battle excluded Zavok, who has actually betrayed Eggman. Metal Sonic used to betray Eggman. Well, I mean, he kind of still does, but it's an outlier kind of thing. But Eggman modified his programming so Metal Sonic would now follow him consistently. One thing they also failed to acknowledge is that Eggman's army is largely robotic and programmed to follow his commands. And this is unlike Bowser's minions, which display varying levels of intelligence and independence. Eggman's forces operate in organized ways under his direct control. And here's the thing about the whole, oh, well, you know, Eggman's army is went against him, bro. The claim that Eggman's army is dysfunctional mainly stems from a few high-profile betrayals, like Metal Sonic and the Hard-Boiled Heavies. But the overwhelming majority of Eggman's creations remain loyal. Instances of rebellion are isolated, at best, rather than a general rule. This is similar to how Bowser sometimes faces insubordination, like Comic getting captured or Bowser Jr. disobeying, etc. Discounting Eggman's full army based on a few rogue elements is unfair and misrepresents the actual efficiency of his forces. Point blank. This is some dishonest shit they pulled. I don't know how you guys deal with this. I don't know how you guys accept this. This is bullshit.
Eggman is a notoriously terrible team player. His alliances are practically guaranteed to fall apart.
Again, those are outliers. Those are not the norm.
Hell, in Sonic Generations, he could barely manage working with himself.
Eggman's army is designed to be controlled by just him. To Eggman, it's harder to command those with free will.
And take Sonic Forces, where he had his robot army and he took over the world when Sonic was out of the picture. Remember that for a second. Remember that. They don't mention that though.
Hence his rivalry with the free-natured Sonic.
Meanwhile, the Koopa Troop follows Bowser because they actually like him. They train really hard to cover each other's weak points.
What feats? What statements do they have that compares to the badniks? Accolades. What do they have that compares to the badniks' accolades? What do they have? They get blitzed by Metal Sonic. It does not matter how well they supposedly work together. They're too weak to put up a fight against the majority of Eggman's badniks. How many ants working together would beat Galactus? We're on that same argument again. That's what Death Battle is doing.
Giving them plenty of advantages as this war progressed, like battlefield control through King Boo's magic.
Fun fact, did you know that Eggman's capsules from the classic games can encase ghosts in them? Funny they didn't mention that. That would have dealt with any of the Boos, really.
and Bowser Jr.'s paint. And since the Koopa Troop doesn't rely that much on technology, Sage's hacking potential had little use.
She could seal the entire Eggman army into cyberspace, where they can't get out. It transcends mathematics. And it stores souls. It stores souls. So the boos cannot get out of it.
Also, secret weapon? Kamek is kinda busted, canceling Metal Sonic's power copying.
Question. Do you have a scan which states that Kamek can negate power copying? No? Okay, it's a lie.
Stealing the Phantom Ruby and potentially swapping the Chaos Emeralds were huge game changers.
1. Get a feat of Kamek using his magic on things as powerful as the Phantom Ruby and the Chaos Emeralds. Next, this wouldn't work because both items are sentient. They can act on their own, and they will choose Eggman because he's a more familiar user of those items.
Add on that Bowser and his army can use any Mario power-up item, and they had millions, no, billions of combinations that the Eggman Empire just could not actively plan against.
1. Not as powerful as Eggman's army. 2. It takes one hit to knock them out of it. And I see them mentioning Sage, but do they know that her very existence as how she is in Sonic Forces and onwards was brought upon by the Ancients' technology? And even without that, Sage's original model hacked into the Ancients' technology in cyberspace, which had an infinite amount of data. Those power-ups and their permutations are not a problem for Sage, who could handle all that data. That said, Death Battle is lying to you guys.
Even with Sage's millions of plans to take down the Titans, she thought them to be unbeatable.
I could go through an entire video on this, but Bowser's army wouldn't be able to beat the Titans neither. Like, they're like ants for the Titans, or not even. They're like water bears being devoured by a person after eating some lettuce. That's what it is. The characters in Sonic Frontiers defies causality, logic, and reality. Sage being even partially right on those is way beyond any data handling feat the Bowser squad has. Come on now.
Which Sonic proved was incorrect.
You mean the same Sonic who did busted feats throughout the series? You mean the same Sonic who is propped up as being able to do what no one else can? Come on now. He breaks logic. This is not some con. Bowser's army can't do what Sonic does.
Just comparing their conquests makes it clear. The Eggman Empire took over the whole planet, but Bowser's troop conquered most of the universe.
Eggman destroyed the universe. He didn't just conquer it, he destroyed it. How is this even a comparison? Death Battle is the kind of people that will say that someone conquering a planet means they're planetary. Also, Bowser conquers with brawn, not smarts. So, what's the significance of that statement? Like, what's the substance? How smart were the people that he conquered? How powerful were they? These are the kind of questions you need to ask when they say, well, he conquered the universe. Well, going to death. How impressive is that? Like, who did he conquer? How smart and powerful were they? I'm saying this because this is an important question that should be answered. But they never explore this. That is a major lack of foresight. It's telling of their research quality too.
Eggman was no pushover. His wit, power output, and ridiculous machines gave Bowser the biggest fight of his life. But the Koopa King's ludicrous strength, abilities, and united forces ultimately prevailed.
Eggman tried to poach the king, and now he's cracked and scrambled.
The winner is Bowser.
Man, this was a garbage episode to debunk. If you liked the video, subscribe, follow, and like the video. You know, and have a good day. I'll see you on the next one. The Mighty Gebra out.